So after exploding some more recordings, because I wanted to try something out, let's just get into this. And the thumbnail should have already provided you some context, but as we get Yog'Othag ill-fated, because I don't want to do Eren into this new backstory, well, it's not going to be ill-fated, but it'll be Yog'Othag. Yeah, we're working with a custom backstory. I think it should work correctly. There were some things I was going over, and yeah, I had to get some help. So, a lot of reading, let's just say, over many types of notes. But for timestamp's sake, as we get into Yog'Othag, a custom backstory, random item stats, and then also an event, because we're using this playtest Miku, we'll pretty much keep taking a few of these. The order ticket will definitely stay, but the Heatwave spell, which is a spell I made just to test things out, will stay at least for this episode, and then I don't know for the next one. We'll see. But if that's the case, I probably should add it to the spell pool in that case. Yeah, I'll probably do that. Knowledge, charisma, dexterity, strength, every single stat check, light check, second encounter check, question mark, and off we go. But yeah, if I were to test some things, I was wondering where I should just throw up any mysteries, events, custom stuff, especially if they're perm content. It would probably be the Nexus Mods site, I believe, because that's where perm exists at the moment. So sailors, mermaids, footage, arcade, and auteur. Oh, that's not a good set of mysteries. Sailors last, footage first. We'll take mermaids fourth so we can get rid of the burns, question mark. I think that's going to be the plan for today. And then we're going to prepare. We do have a bit of these mysteries are pretty much average length of investigations, but if I were to continue going, also I forgot to use the hardware store, but it's fine because actually, yeah, because we're working with perm custom items, I need to keep using those phrases in that specific order because it's important to mention, because when you get, items like this, the pocket pistol, which is strength based, then for Miku here, it works a lot better. Now, the unfortunate part of that is, one, we don't have the funds, but two, it's very low damage, even though it is very fast. So, yeah, I kind of regret my decision now. So we're looking for basically the army knife again. If you get the butterfly knife and it was actually doing a lot of damage, then it would have been great, but no. So instead, I hope this bandage sells for at least one fun. Okay, good. I forgot that I was on random item stats for a moment, even though I was just looking at damage fluctuated random item stats, but hey, and with 2 knowledge, we're not fighting this ghost. I was thinking about it. Usually, if there's anything to take away from this video, in that base World of Horror event, it's normally at least okay to fight that ghost. You don't have to. I'm not telling you should, but it's not at least you'll at least break even fighting that ghost if you are able to do 4 cyber damage. If you know the ghost ritual, that's cool too because you get the banish experience. But unfortunately, the reason why I'm so gung-ho about experience is because if you didn't see, yeah, you'll notice that I have negative 124 experience right now. So that's the effect of the Amnesiac backstory, in which you get, I think it's more experience per investigation. Yeah, so it's 2. So when you hit the investigation button, I think it's when you hit the investigation button, you get 2 experience immediately. Oh, no. It's when you enter the event, you get 2 experience immediately by base World of Horror, from how I understand base World of Horror's experience system. But Amnesiac gives you basically 2 plus more experience, so that's why essentially you get about 28 experience more per run. Oh my goodness, I ran into my custom event. I'll explain that later, but it's still helpful. Because I think they were getting other experience. I don't remember all of the other effects at the moment. We'll take the Doom hit, but basically this experience will make up for itself in more ways than one. Primarily through the inspect enemy action, which I should have been adding. Actually, I did not fight a single enemy yet, so I need to remember that. Hopefully I remember that. I might not, but hey. Otherwise, we'll get into probably auteur, and then we'll do arcade third just to try and hold off, because we do want to level up. I guess if I were to think about how to approach an Amnesiac run, again, it's a custom perm backstory, so you will not find this backstory in base World of Horror at the moment, but because of our pretty much staying at level 1, you can't really rely on perks as much, because by the time you get to even just a positive amount of experience, you'll probably be on your 3rd mystery, which is very, 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 very painful. On top of that, because of how Harbinger, well, just World of Horror works in general, but Harbinger, the difficulty works. You could fight anywhere from, as you can see here, probably like 2 to 4 enemy, 2 to like 6 to 7 enemies, if we include bosses. If you don't include bosses, literally like 1 to 4 enemies before your end of your third mystery, and that's assuming you get to level up. Like, we're trying to level up to at least grab a perk. Now, again, a perk is not always going to save you, but for some characters, it's very important. Like Aiko, you want Fast Swimmer. Miku, or any version of Miku, really, that I've made, has Adrenaline. Haru has Core Strength, and so on and so forth. Ayaka has Blood Mania. So, actually, funny enough, if I were playing Ayaka right now on an Amnesiac run, I would probably just go to the History Club and look for it. If you don't have the History Club because maybe you're watching this video and you haven't unlocked History Club, I don't know. I just die, I guess. Die in the run. I'm mentioning in game, lose the run. That's gonna be the more friendly way to say it. But we have some stamina to spare. Also, again, keep in mind I need to inspect here so that we can get extra experience, and we'll find out if the action is bugged. If nothing else, we're gonna play test this backstory. But we should be able to do that. We'll take 5 stamina damage for it, but that's kind of what I would expect in terms of damage to take because of the negatives of the backstory. So what I mean by that is, say you're on medical history and then you get badly bleeding, not even cut artery, but nothing as nice as tiny cuts. Then it's like, okay, you might spend like 2 to 3 doom and lose 1 extra stamina than you would on a normal World of Horror backstory run, where nothing is happening, no positives or negatives. Then I'm trying to find the inspect action, by the way. I'm going crazy. You can't inspect this encounter? Oh, custom enemies. No! I didn't think about that. See, that's a variable I overlooked, although if I were more knowledgeable in World of Horror than I should be right now, I would have remembered this. So in custom enemies, I'm pretty sure you can set this setting, and in this specific enemy, this is bad RNG, by the way. You normally, like 95% of enemies are inspectable. This one is not, so shrug. But in a normal encounter, I would have gotten, I think that's an extra 20 experience. I hope it's 20 experience. Even 10 experience is like bare minimum, but if it's lower than that, sadness. And what I mean by that is, boy, Amnesiac is an uphill battle. But, yeah, we'll move on. I was mentioning something earlier I wanted to get back to, but because of my short-term memory and long-term memory at times, I forgot. So we'll just go through this. I think I'll just mash through. There's not really anything. I do want to pick the middle option, though, because the right option can railroad us into a boss encounter. Yeah, ending C, but we're not on an ill-fated run because we're Amnesiac at the moment. That being said, with every mystery, I think you get max reason as well, because you start off with lower max reason, if you didn't notice. So that's a smaller downside. The experience, yeah, your experience is the main star of the show here. And we're taking Arcade now because I can't wait any longer. It's still a larger negative as we're at 76% Doom here. It's still a larger negative to... Ooh, actually I need to gamble here. Oh, we can't gamble 50 power. Oh, I guess we go for a kick and... No, we go for this and then hope that we hit the kick. This will allow us to inspect. Okay, we're going to see how much the inspect action gives us. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. We get 5 experience. I know there's another way we're getting bonus experience in this backstory, but I can't remember at the moment. But the important part is that, no, I did not level up before the end of the third mystery, which is... the only reason... It's not like I'm trying... This is not... I wouldn't explain this... I wouldn't say this is a subjective opinion, because it's simply true in that after the third mystery, you will be able to level up. The problem is if you want to take a boss... Because it's one of 2 things. Let me just say it out here. Let me stop just to at least do math, if nothing else. So, we're at 90% Doom, by the way. So the problem I'm having here... And again, this is not now a negative problem. It's... you are supposed to be able to think past this, and what's the backstory called? The backstory, one of the newer backstories that you stay at level 1 and don't get experience, that exists, so theoretically speaking, this run is not as bad as it seems. Overall, it is a positive if you play on that backstory. The problem is that if you're struggling for any reason, whether you know what you're doing or not, like me on the ladder, I don't know what I'm doing as much, but... So we're in the third mystery. If we need to take a boss now, is it better to fight a boss now than... or wait until the fourth mystery? Because Even with Miku with adrenaline, I think we'd have an easier time. But then the enemies are dealing 1 extra point of damage. That's kind of the. Those are the two sides of the scale I'm thinking of. Is it better to, if we're staying at level 1, is it better to stay at level 1 and take the 3rd mystery, like Arcade now? Or should we have saved Arcade for our 4th mystery, where the Arcade mystery... I mean, we can skip this boss encounter, but if we had to fight a boss, would it have been better to level up during the 4th mystery, but take an extra point of damage? I mean, it does depend on your situation anyway, but just to note here, yeah, so, for example, this applies to any enemies you're fighting as well, and we still haven't leveled up, by the way. I mean, no. If we're in the 4th mystery, if I had adrenaline here, would this save me? I think so, right? Because then I'd be able to do prep attack, I feel like. If we can't do prep attack, at least the character is not going to do well for me. But, yeah, and then note that enemies get an extra 2 HP as well. So let's pretend for a moment. Yeah, we would still be able... We have to hit both attacks, by the way. But when we hit both attacks, then we were able to desperate prep struggle out of this. Of course, we can't at the moment. But I'm not going to take the risk, so we're just going to brace. Keep in mind, we're at 94% Doom right now, but hey, things happened. So, can I fit an inspect? Yeah, so let me just keep an eye on this, not, well, literally and figuratively. Oh my goodness, I cannot get this guaranteed. Well, well, I'm just gonna gamble here. 60%. We get 5 experience, and we finally get to level up. But we take a bunch of damage for it, and we're in the boss fight anyway, but we get to level up beforehand. We get looting instead, fine, so be it. Fast learner here is not gonna do anything for me, so... I know it sounded like I was really hyping up Fast Learner in a recent previous video, as we just doom out due to time stop, but in this specific instance, no. If we had started with it, that's fine, but yeah, here, no, not as much. I do think, especially when you're getting extra bonuses from like the Amnesiac backstory as we close out this video, that you do a thing. I'm going to go past this game over screen, by the way, because I want to look at something. So, before we end this video, actually, let's take a look. So, yeah, because the commoner backstory exists, theoretically speaking, Amnesiac should not be as bad. Start with an experience and max reason penalty, but gain bonus experience with each investigation and assessed enemy, and level ups restore reason. So let's do some math at the moment. On average, you're doing about 28 35 investigations. Going crazy. But if you're doing 35 investigations, that's 70 experience, because each investigation nets you an extra bonus 2 experience. And on average, we're assuming each mystery has about 7 investigations. Some have more, some don't have as much. But those that don't have as much, you are saving resources anyway, because you're not investigating as much, usually, if assuming that you have bad RNG. And if you're investigating more, then you're getting extra bonus experience, although it is a bit more painful because of, as I just said, random RNG on Harbinger. But, so it's 70 experience, and then assuming you can assess enemy, so you're fighting about 7 to 8 enemies per run, let's assume just 7, so that's 35 experience. So yeah, you do, is that more, basically I'm trying to calculate, is that more than the experience that you lose and out on? 150 experience. So let's take the bare minimum-ish, pretty much. Bare minimum would be 70 experience plus 35, so we would have 105. Again, that's not bad. If you want a difficult backstory, that's actually quite good in terms of like balance immersion, whatever you want to call it. I'm losing my mind at the moment. But basically, you would have a negative 45 experience to your entire run. That does, funny enough, indirectly buff Fast Learner, because Fast Learner, if you're taking enough damage, you could break the threshold of, hey, I get to level up again before at least the Lighthouse. That's, again, the other bare minimum of, hey, maybe I get something out of this level up and I don't lose the run. Again, it's really finicky. I mean, whether a backstory is hard or easy, there's a lot of strategy and RNG that's involved. So, but the other way of trying to say all of this is that your backstory and Old God combination are pretty much at worst third highest in terms of influence in your run. The top 2 is your strategy as a player, and what you decide to do. And then right up there is right after that, or actually in first would be RNG. But personally, I do think strategy still wins out. So it's strategy. Second most important thing to your survival in World of War is RNG. Then third would be, well, technically backstory old god combination can be RNG, but depends on how you like to play. Again, I like to just throw in things randomly, so therefore RNG is a bigger factor, or that would be RNG as a third. But if you're choosing your old god and backstory combination, so say I just want to go say Katak Amnesiac, then it's like, okay, then I'm doing it myself. It's not RNG because I'm choosing these backstories. That's why I said third, if not third to fifth most important thing in your run would probably be your backstory, old god, and character combination. If you want to separate them, it would probably be character first, then backstory and old god next. But that would depend because certain characters work better on certain old gods and backstories. A prime example is you want Aiko and Haru work, well, present day Haru and Aiko just always is better on Katak because they have things in their kit that have to do with, well, survivability in encounters, which Katak you cannot run from. Otherwise, for characters like, well, just Ayaka in general, but Ayaka also has Eldritch Possession, or Ayaka has Eldritch Possession to help her out in backstories in which events in general may hurt you a lot more. Or endings as well, because she also has, as much as Doom Effigy doesn't decrease your Doom by a lot, it's still a lot more helpful. But definitely Toshiaki, because Knight Errant may give you, say, 21% more Doom, but he starts with like negative 50% Doom effectively, assuming you survive the run. Other examples include Kana on Scars or Eldritch Parasite backstory, where Kana they just have max reason, max stamina fixed at 8. But then you have to worry about Doom. So again, a lot of push and pull here and there. So if there are any changes made, you're ultimately still buffing or nerfing certain characters or making certain old gods harder or easier to fight, so on and so forth. But yeah, without further ado, nothing much else to say. If you have something to put on this, or maybe I made a mistake, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye!